All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to our webinar here today. We have the man in the house. We have Mr. Ray Orzini in the house of OITVOIP. Welcome, Ray.
What's up, Dan? How you doing, man?
Doing good. Life is good. How about you? You guys doing some traveling? I know Sean's on the road quite a bit, and you were on the road last week as well. And
we had channel partners. Well, ASCII 2 weeks ago, then channel partners, then IT Nation last week. So finally happy to be back home.
It's just nonstop, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a blessing and a curse, right? I mean, business is good, but it's just it's like which direction am I going today type, right?
Absolutely. I don't do a ton of the conferences. I loved IT Nation because that's where my people come and hang out. So it's fun to just get together and network. Leave Sean and Matt and the team to do the sales stuff, but I get to have fun and have drinks with friends. So it's nice.
That's awesome. Well, I think I just saw a note here from Mr. Sean Lardo. Says, yes, going everywhere. Where in the world is Sean Lardo? That is a good question. Where is Sean Lardo today? Where on the road is he?
In Pittsburgh for a minute until ASCII Cup in a couple of weeks. So gotcha. We're going to get him like a trench coat and one of the Carmen Sandiego hats. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
Well, one quick question for you. You guys did a oh my gosh, my brain just dropped. You did a tech bar last week.
Yeah.
And how did that go last week?
Jason McGee and company at ConnectWise were gracious enough to let us do a live tech bar from IT Nation, live with the audience. Nice. They were on. It was really cool. We had some technical difficulties, so the first 20 minutes of the recording are silent, but we had a blast in the show. But the last 40 minutes are online, and it was great. And I think we're doing the same thing at ASCII Cup, so should be great. That's
awesome. Well, today we're here to talk about how OITVOIP's newest MVNO solution is evolving in the industry's mobile experience, and how you can implement this today to improve business continuity while generating some additional revenue for your MSP. So some pretty exciting stuff. You're going from VoIP to mobile. So not something that we're seeing much of in the industry. You're kind of trailblazing right there, and I love that. So
I think in the MSP space, we're the only VoIP provider for MSPs doing mobile right now.
Woo! Like you said, trailblazer, man. I mean, let's think about it. When you take a look at things that you've done, you are a trailblazer, my friend, and that's awesome. And that's why we love to work together and partner with those that do lead the industry and are helping us as MSPs to really help differentiate what we have to offer from our competition as MSPs. And so that's great. So let's jump in and let's talk more about it. And little quick housekeeping here. For anybody that has any questions, feel free to throw them out there in chat as we go. And we will we'll get to those as quick as we can. And real quick, saying hi to Glenn. Maybe too many drinks. Yeah, that's always possible when you're going to.
He hung out with us in person at IT Nation, so it was really.
I know. I saw some pictures of you guys together. That's awesome. Yeah. And Simon says hello. We've got Carrie Wagner out there. Good morning, guys. Good to see you, Carrie. Or good to see your text there. We want to see you on our shows each Wednesday and Friday. So be sure to jump in. And with that, feel free to throw your questions out there. We'll get to them, and let's kick it off.
Awesome. And you guys know me. I don't do the death by PowerPoint thing. I absolutely have a presentation because it's kind of a complex subject, but I definitely want to, I definitely want to answer questions and stuff as it comes along. So feel free to interject. Also, speaking of trailblazing, this is the first, and we're always doing webinars, we're always doing stuff. Everything MSP, this is the first webinar we've done at all, even before our own webinars about the MVNO solution. So talk about trailblazing. So thanks for having me.
That's awesome.
Having me on. Can you see the screen share okay?
Yes. Yep. Thank you.
Awesome. So, all right. So MVNO, real quick, I'll give a little quick background of us for the two people that haven't met me yet. Whatchamacallit. I've been around since, since the age of Adam, doing this for over 25 years, started in managed services, always had a background in UCAS, and then decided I had a lot more fun doing this with partners and MSPs than doing this. Yes, Sean, and you're older, and more fun doing this with partners than doing this with end users. So that became the partner programs. Unlike some of the others, we have multiple partner programs. So we actually have channel for the ones that don't want to do the taxation and the boogeyman and all that fun stuff in the billing. And for those that do, we have a migration path to get into that too. I won't spend too much time on this, just putting it out there. The contact information is below. Sean and I are all over everything MSP. I did miss the twice weekly calls for the last 2 weeks. I genuinely missed them, even though they're on my day off. It's like the only thing I do on Fridays.
You had some busy stuff going on.
Yeah, but I will be back tomorrow. But yeah, we have the partner programs. Large network. We're actually a carrier servicing US 50 in Canada. Multiple data centers with crazy uptime. And I don't have all the awards. We've won like 4 awards in the last year and a half. So very excited. This is the only one that made it to the slide so far. So, and then the last thing, salesy, I promise. And the reason you'll care is because we have unlike others that charge for all these extra features, we throw it all in, right? Call recording, call queues, auto attendance, customized music on hold. And you're going to care about this. And I'll tell you why in a second. All these are great, but if you wanted to do this mobile, which is what everybody hears, that's the point of today, the traditional solution was mobile apps, right? That was install an app. Dan, you've done this, right? You have an app on your cell phone so you can answer office calls when you're out on the street. And how's that solution been? Sometimes it rings, sometimes it doesn't. It's not rock solid, right?
Right.
Yeah. When do I show the ShamWow? Actually, and another thing now, and don't get me wrong, I like the mobile apps. They're good. I consider them a convenience feature, right? I consider them something that, but wait, there's more. Wait till I pull something out of my pocket. Whatchamacallit. But the mobile apps, while you can see presence and you can see the visual voicemail, depending on your cell phone, right? You might have more difficulty. So talking to partners in our partner Discord, they've been dying for this for the last year. We actually announced this, the first announcements of this a year ago, or more than a year ago. But this actually, we launched this last Thursday in production. We've been using this internally for about a year, to give you an idea. But talking to partners, on iPhone, on iOS, they're all pretty much the same device. So the experience is pretty uniform. But if you're on Android, and I'm an Android user,
yes, all right,
yeah,
I knew I loved you, man. I knew it.
Absolutely. I feel a little dirty because I bought an iPad. I bought an iPad Pro.
Yeah,
but I love it, but I'm not leaving Android. So, but the problem is with Android, like there's so many different devices, the experience changes between Samsung and Pixel, if I'm trying to get a Pixel 6 Pro, but or the Galaxy Fold or Flip, or even the Surface Duo. I have one of the original Surface Duos from last year. The experience is different, and different battery aggression, aggressiveness as far as saving battery life and all that fun stuff. So you have some issues, right? The battery life, the app doesn't always ring, non-uniform performance, even in the same devices. We had one customer we had to let out of service. We did our best, they did their best, but they were 25 users over 3 different states, but they were using the same cell phone company with some no-name company. I've never heard of them, which tells you something. I've been doing this over 25 years, never heard of the company. And they had a multitude of problems. There was nothing anybody could do. And it's just, we had to let them out of the contract because it was unfair to keep them in. You know what I mean? There are literally tens of you on Androids.
I saw that. I'm like, all right, Blaine.
So, I felt bad for them, but it's really hard to get uniform service when all the devices and the service providers and the OS levels are so significantly different. That brings us to this. What's the answer? Well, the answer is the native cell phone experience.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah,
Can I
please,
interrupt
man.
real quick? I want to back up a second. So
Yeah.
you indicated that you guys have been using this internally for the last year.
Yes.
So the only thing I can gather here is quality over just getting it out there, right? I mean, you guys wanted to beat it to death to ensure that it's a high quality experience for your client base and your client's client base, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
that is rock solid. And that's something that, I mean, we're used to a lot of vendors that, roll things out, they're ready to get it out and they're under a lot of pressure. A lot of times it could be, because they're a public company and, and depending on the scenario, they've got to get it out there. And, you don't have that pressure, you want to get something out there, but you want to make sure it's right. And, I mean, hats off to you, Ray. I mean, that's
Thank
rock
you.
solid. Yeah.
I appreciate that. It's much to the chagrin of my partners because we have our OITVOIP Discord where, they usually get the alpha announcements and the beta announcements. And like I said, we announced this at CCS, and part of the gripe is I maybe overshare a little too much. And I tell them we're testing this and we're looking, because I want to know what's interesting. It's not just what I think,
Right.
but I want to know what's interesting to our partners. And so they know I'm working on something, and then it's, when is it coming? When is it coming? But I was sharing with them like, we're announcing V42, our next major release with sentiment analysis and really cool stuff. It'll be out Thanksgiving, but we did the release notes last week. And one of my partners was saying, why are you giving release notes 3 or 4 weeks before you even put out the product? And I want everybody to be prepared. I want them to know we tested this stuff. We test everything routinely, minimum 12 weeks. Most things we test for 6 or 7 months in advance. And then because of our time in the industry, this solution, and many others that we work with, I get the benefit with our partners that I actually got to help them build the solution out. I actually got to say,
Nice.
this is cool, but I need this. I'll get into what I needed because you'll see where the benefits are. But
Yeah.
I actually got to mold this based on partner feedback and what they were looking for in their interest, and my own experiences and our internal experiences. We were able to mold this to nearly the perfect solution for all our partners. But yeah, that's our normal cadence. It drives them nuts, but I want to make sure I can deliver something that's important. So this is where, I make Carrie laugh and I pull out of my pocket the SIM cards. This is not an app we're installing on the phones. These are SIM cards today, and we just started alpha testing eSIMs. The call I had just before this one at 12 o'clock, we were deploying eSIMs. That's why I have the iPad out. But these are physical SIMs you install, and your native cell phone becomes an extension of the phone system. I want to let that sink in because, again, nobody else is doing this. I know a few other players that are doing this, not in our space, none that you've heard of, but your cell phone is an extension of the phone system, if that makes sense. So your
Right.
native phone dialer, you're dialing out, it's going through the phone system. You have your extension dialing. Of course, you can have your own phone number, but your extension, if I'm 1009, I can call 1005 on the same system, and it goes back and forth. If I have call recording enabled, my cell phone calls are now recorded. You can choose that on a per device or per user or per platform basis. Unified call histories, right? You ever work in a sales organization, salespeople, Sean will echo this. They love to use their cell phones. They hate using the desk phone. They're always mobile. They're always moving around. You've done webinars with Sean. He's not in the same room for any 15 minutes. He's he bounces around. But the problem is, salespeople, you don't have that call history, right? You don't know what's going on. You can't keep track of performance for salespeople. How can managers manage what they don't know? God forbid that salesperson leaves, the organization moves on, that, their client book is calling them, and they're not getting you, they're getting the cell phone for the user. On the organizational side, right? You're paying for stipends, or you're paying for cell phone contracts, you're giving hardware.
Right.
It's a lot of work for the organization to manage. Well, now you don't worry about it. You just give them one of these and you're good to go. And it's not all that complicated. You have your cell phone, it goes over the traditional GSM networks, AT&T, T-Mobile. We can use any unlocked device, period. And it hits OIT and all the joys on OIT.
Awesome.
You good, Dan?
When you think about When you think about going back to the old days of, when cell phones first came out, and then you had the whole per minutes and just how everything has
Oh yeah.
evolved, and then you got to a point where all of a sudden, especially corporate environments, and then it rolled down to SMB, we're like, okay, we have a little bit of problem here because our sales reps, I mean, we do know that there's churn. We have
Oh
sales
yeah.
reps that come and go. And as much as we want to believe and trust in everybody that we hire, when someone leaves, you just never know. I mean, you have all that history in there. People then would still be dialing that number. And then all of a sudden, oh, I'm at XYZ competition company. And, and just, it becomes challenging. Right. And so
Absolutely.
this is that solution for it.
It is. And that's, and so I want to take it back to those ridiculous, it says 70 features here, but it's over 100 at this point. But all that stuff is now baked into your cell phone without any apps, without anything. So that call history, the call analysis, the call reporting, the call recording for compliance, right? Especially if you're in a sales organization, you want to know, and I see questions popping up. So, if you have questions, absolutely put them in there. But you've just enabled your cell phone to be this ultra powerful thing. And when the user leaves, you don't have to worry about getting anything back. We just kill the SIM and you're done. In the MSP world, right? Like something we used to work on with our clients is when they had to offboard somebody, they would they would tell us in advance, and they'd walk them into HR, and they'd give us a heads up that they will be with HR between 11 and 12. And when they walked in the door to HR, we were killing accounts. That was that was the process.
Yep.
This is as simple as turn it off and you're done.
Yeah.
I mean,
awesome.
and then talk about presence, right? If somebody's using a cell phone, you don't know if they're on the phone or not. You don't know if they're busy or do not disturb. Suddenly with this, you do, right? You have call routing set up based on, is the person on the phone? Is the person available? Now this works with cell phones. So it's pretty impressive in my opinion. Like I hate to oversell it because it's like I've been even using this, I've been like, wow, this is awesome for the past year. So who uses this, right? Field engineers, sales teams, company device assignments, the people that want unified billing, right? The AP department is tired of like 17,000 bills.
Right.
Sales organizations that really need those metrics. How many calls are we? Because now we're getting call center stats, seizure rates, average hold time, average wait time, average handle time. All those stats are now available with cell phone calls too. That is a major thing. And then compliance, right? Yeah.
I want to jump into a question that came up here.
Yeah,
and actually, I'm going to, a couple of comments here from our friend Keith. The old days, you actually dial a phone by turning a crank. Yeah, I remember that. I remember buying my first cell phone. And I always wanted a cell phone at that time. And, in the early days when it was just outrageous and in price. And I remember my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife, we're going to be heading up north. I was heading over to her house to pick her up, just get on the highway, and my hood of the car flies open and smashes my window. And so here I am stuck on the side of the highway.
Oh my gosh.
Stuck on the side of the highway until someone shows up, right? Because how do you reach somebody when, cell phones were not really mainstream back then? And I'm dating myself, right? Here, but it's crazy to think about those times. But you're right, Keith. And then the other comment Keith made is usually older people like himself, and like you and I, Ray, because we're kind of dinosaurs like that, have more experience and should be consulted. You younger folk under 100, you don't have the history we have. So but Keith has a good question here. So Keith's question is there still a separation on the cell phone between personal and business phone number in restricting office time, avoiding employee burnout?
So because you have the answering rules, because you have the ability to still do not disturb and all the other stuff, all those wonderful functionalities, you carry over to your cell phone. So if you want to put your extension on do not disturb, or based on a time frame, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. most the phone devices, I know it's not as common in the US, but internationally, a lot of devices, especially like Samsung, they support dual SIM. One of the reasons we're testing eSIM now, besides ease of deliverability, is like if you have an iPhones, all current iPhones support dual SIM. Pixel supports dual SIM, especially eSIM. And you can actually say, okay, I'm calling out, and just directly above the dial pad, you'll see personal or business. You can name the different SIMs. And you say, I'm calling out for my personal line. I'm calling out for my business line. And you can on Android, and I believe you can do this on iPhone. I'm not as adept on iOS. I apologize. But on Android, you could absolutely do it. And you can say, okay, well, this SIM, I'm on do not disturb, but this SIM, I'm good. And you can set timeframes for all of that. So yeah, you can absolutely respect your personal time and your quality of life. I'm all about that. Sean, myself, my wife, the people that are in, I don't want to say the people that run the company, because we're fortunate to have all the people run the company.
Right.
But we took a different position where I signed up to be on call 24/7, right? That's what business owners do, right? And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I took that responsibility, and I knew what I was getting into. This is my 7th business. I knew what I was getting into. But employees that sign up with us to work with us, they're not, I do my best to respect their personal time, let them enjoy their families. Right. I get blood, sweat, and tears during business hours. Let them decompress and have personal time on their own time.
Absolutely.
So you absolutely have those controls. Blaine saying iOS. Go ahead.
So what you're saying though is that I can still maintain my existing personal phone. Yep. And then this same phone becomes my business phone. So they're combined but independent.
Correct. Yeah, awesome. It's I know there's certain people that still keep a separate business phone and a personal phone, like physical. I know that's not what you're saying, but like separate devices, you can do that still. But you don't need to. With dual SIM, you really don't need to. And that's also why we want to do eSIM, because a lot of the devices that don't support dual physical SIMs in the US do support eSIM plus physical SIM. So all the Pixel 5, Pixel 6, both the regular and the Pro, the international versions of all the Samsung devices, S20 and up, and the Note 20 and up. All the iOS XR and up support eSIM and physical SIM. So having that ability to have both is pretty nice.
Yeah, it's like virtualization, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Blaine saying iOS, you can specify SIM for contacts versus numbers dialed and such. Yeah, see, Blaine knows better than me on the iOS side. I appreciate that, Blaine. So yeah, I mean, you get a lot of flexibility doing this, which I really love. Carrie, just a gleam in daddy's eye, which we call it. And Keith, you were missed at IT Nation, by the way, as were you, Dan. But Sean was there. Simon had his daddy. Tony Francisco showed up. So that's awesome. Sean's daddy was missed at IT Nation.
Oh, Keith said he was there.
He was in spirit. I know he wasn't there in person.
Oh man, what now? Hopefully Keith is joking, but he could be serious. I mean, he might have been purposely hiding so you couldn't see him.
He could have been.
And then waited till this call to tell you that he was there.
I think Keith is enough of a celebrity that I would have. Yeah. I would have seen the crowds, moving around him, possibly putting him on his shoulders.
Yeah, when Keith is in the house, it's well known. So
yeah, and Carrie, awesome. You're always missed, man. It's
Of course. We do have two other questions. We have one from Keith. One Keith is asking, is the outgoing call masked with the office number, since I don't give out my direct cell for free?
Your call. It's up to you. So the way our platform allows, you can choose the outgoing number per user. So some people prefer it to be the company number. Some people prefer it to be their own number. Sean, for example, shows a personal DID or a DID phone number assigned to him. So it's based on whatever you decide, because because you have, and you can change that on the fly in the PBX. You know, imagine trying to go to AT&T, and I laugh because one of my employees, he was on a family plan, and his name on his cell phone when he would call was his mother's name. Now, this was a 23-year-old man, and you know, but he was on a family plan. Like my daughter and my wife are on my family plan, or were anyway before this, and you know, we would laugh all the time. So he tried calling AT&T to change his name on his cell phone, something that should be minimal. And he couldn't get it done. It was the most complicated thing. Here, you log in the PBX and you can change the phone number, change whatever you want, and do it on the fly. It takes seconds. So yeah, you can, it's your call, however you want it.
That's awesome. And then the other question from CJ is, how's MMS and SMS deliverability? And then the second question is, and the availability for phone number registration for Apple iMessage.
That's how you can tell who the blue message people are, the iOS users. You know, so SMS, that's one of the other really cool things. All call, with the exception of 911, all calling, all messaging goes through OITVOIP. So it all goes through our platform. So the same controls and the same, it's all, any messaging that goes to the cell phone is also in the app. It's bi-directional. It's also in the portal bi-directional. We do support iMessage, absolutely. So it's all there. It's all there. And then 911, the only reason that doesn't go through us is because in the PSTN world, the public switch telephone network world, 911 actually goes through E911 centers. We have a separate convention for that. When it's cell phone, it goes through, there's a triangulation process and they have their own mechanism. So that just goes directly through the towers to the PSAPs. So we're fully compliant with all that stuff too.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Blaine says he only responds to blue messages.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. And then this is one of those big deals. Remember, you know, I had been talking about, you know, we have the different partner programs, right? So this is one of the slides. Sean's so much better at this. Don't tell him that. Damn it. It's on. Yeah. It's recorded now.
Hopefully he's not. Hopefully he's like sleeping right now, like while he's listening.
Hoping. He's still recovering from surgery, so I'm hoping the meds are kicking in.
There you go.
But whatchamacallit, the partner program. So in the channel program, you know, the network name on this Duo, I won't even try to like put it on screen, but the network name on the Duo is OITVOIP. If you're a white label partner, it actually if you're a white label partner, it's actually showing your network name. So you want to talk about brand awareness, cementing your brand with your customer, have your cell phone name, your company name right here on the network name.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah. And nothing beats, you know, Comcast showing up at your house trying to sell you on stuff and you saying, no, I am the phone company. And they're like, oh, right. T-Mobile. And you're showing them, no, OITVOIP. No. This is my company. This is my hat. This is my company.
I mean, well, think about that though. I mean, when we talk about differentiation of our businesses, given that OITVOIP is right now the first in the channel providing this, and you're going out and selling this, I mean, this is a right now jump on this opportunity. Yes. Take advantage of this, get this out there while it is such a uniqueness to your MSP. It's huge.
Yeah, be the first to market. It's all about that differentiation. That's the hardest part. Like, you know, my heart goes out to MSPs because you're literally competing with people that watch a YouTube video, you know, your cousins, nephews, dog walkers, aunts, you know, third grade teacher's brother, like they watch a YouTube video and now they're also an IT person and they're also competing in the same space. And there's no way they know anywhere near as much as you do. No, they have your resources, they have your experience, your training, but to the client, you have to work really, really hard to show them the difference. Well, you walk in as a voice provider and say, okay, well, this isn't AT&T, this isn't T-Mobile. When I say you call me, you're calling me, and here's your network name right there. That's a big deal. There's enterprises that pay to have their own company name on there for brand cohesion, which, you know, it's not cheap, but they do it. And, you know, so yeah, differentiate yourself 100%.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Let me just double check here. Just making sure that we didn't miss any questions. We got that one answered. Yeah, I think we're good right now on those questions. All right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just checking my Discord and my DMs too, making sure, because the partners love to do that. They'll see me on like one place and they'll start DMing me somewhere else.
Right.
They get mad if I didn't answer it.
Well, actually, let me jump back to one thing here.
Yeah.
So let me see. There's a question from Victor, or AKA Frankie. So your DID number can be your cell phone number?
Yes. Yeah, you can port your cell phone number in. We can assign you a new one. You can use the company number, but you choose whatever your cell phone number is going in and out. And it can be different going out than coming in. You know what I mean? Because it really doesn't matter.
Right. And
yeah.
So for the other question he had is he wants to know, so you don't have your own cell towers. So which networks do you piggyback on?
We're on AT&T and T-Mobile.
Perfect.
We do have, this is US only for today. You can call US and Canada. We have Roam Like at Home. We're going to support about 150 countries starting January 1. But
Wow.
At launch, we're trying to keep it North America based for now, just to make sure anything we missed, make sure we can iron those details out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And anybody, if you have any additional questions, feel free to throw them in there as we continue on here, and we will
absolutely.
jump to those.
And that's the thing too, having, you imagine your techs are out there in the field and, they need to call a client, they call the client, but the last thing you want is a client calling them back on their cell phone. They can call out and then the call comes back in and it hits your main office, right? So they're not getting interrupted. They're not, because how clients are. Right. You give them your number once and that's the only number they'll ever call again.
Right. And you can put a policy in place, which is, make sure that you block your, your caller ID outgoing. But of course, people don't always like that, right? Because they don't know who's calling you. Maybe they don't take your call because that's their personal policy, right? I mean, we all have, we all get tons of calls, and we want to.
Clients aren't going to respect the personal space, right? They don't know. And honestly, it's one more step for them to miss. So you want to, if they don't have to dial *67 before dialing, or they don't have to do one extra thing, make it easy for them. The techs have enough headaches they're dealing with. The last thing you want is, so I know people are going to ask, and I'm all about transparency. You can sell your cell phone for huge charge. Pro tip. That's what you do. You give your cell phone number out to everybody and then sell that cell phone to somebody else. So, so the thing I wanted to get to is I want to make sure, it's right here. Pricing. Actually, that's the bundled T pricing. This is our bundled seat pricing. If you go like bundled seat, hosted seat, pretty easy. You guys have all seen this before. It's not like we hide pricing behind anything. NFR is all month to month. This is the cool thing too with the mobile plans. If you go to AT&T and you get a cell phone, you're paying 40, 50, 60 bucks, whatever for the cell phone. And then you go to Ring Central or Vonage or one of those horrible places and you get a hosted seat, you're paying those two bills. Well, with us, we're including the hosted seat with the mobile seat because it's just an extension, right? It's just the same user. So one less bill in that regard, it becomes very, very cost effective. And like all of our agreements, we do a 2-year agreement up front for the clients, but then it's month to month afterward. If you're white label, it's completely month to month. You're not doing cell phone agreements per cell phone, adds, changes, removes, super easy. So that the white label partner can do whatever they want, but we're not holding you to a contract on the white label side. For the channel partner side, it's whatever agreement that they have with the client or we have with the client. So, I mean, talk about easy and, the NFR prices, all that fun stuff. And again, for our NFR, all of our NFRs are always month to month. So there's absolutely no harm, no foul. They want to try it out. Most partners do that. They try it out, say, I want to use it, want to see how it is, fully expecting it to be a disappointment, as most trials tend to be sometimes. And they end up liking it and staying it. How does internet access work and hotspot capability? Okay, Dimitri, actually one of my partners, Dimitri. What's up, Dima? Whatchamacallit? Okay, excellent questions. Some things that you care about that we do not have today. And Tony was giving me tons of gruff about this because I'm like, we don't have these. I want to be transparent. And Tony's like, nobody cares. You have this amazing thing that's first to market, but I want to be transparent about things.
Yeah.
Mobile hotspot, okay, eSIM, and over-the-air updates for network name. Oh, and I'm sorry, and unlimited data. Those 4 things we do not have this year. So no mobile hotspot. If it goes with us, it will be mobile hotspot. There will be no mobile hotspot on the device. We're not really unlimited data. We're not really selling these as data only devices. SIMs, there's nothing preventing you from doing so, but realistically there are cheaper options if you're going to do data only. The big benefit for this is you have your voice and data together, your whole voice, your whole enterprise voice for the company together with the mobile device. But the unlimited data, we are already working on unlimited data packages for next year. eSIM, even though we're trialing it now, like we said, we do a lot of testing very, very early. So realistically, and what we're really testing is not that it works, but the user onboarding experience. Because with eSIM, there's a little extra work for the customer to do versus, take this and break out if you need micro, nano, or regular size SIM, right? With eSIM, there's a little bit of, some typing and stuff. So we're working out the user experience. And then on the data side, this is 4G and 3G, 4G and LTE only. 5G will be next year along with unlimited data. So I want to be transparent about that stuff. Where the data goes through, no mobile hotspot on the phones. This is from Alan. No mobile hotspot on the phones makes the lower data plans more attractive. Harder to suck 5 to 10 gigs of data just on a phone screen. Absolutely. Realistically, the metrics we've pulled from Forrester and from a bunch of others has been, especially with work from home, everybody's on Wi-Fi 90% of the day. So we're not high data usage, right? The mobile hotspot users traditionally are us, MSPs, the techs, the field people. You know what I mean? This is not the solution for that. But without the mobile hotspot, it also keeps the data usage necessity down, which is why I say unlimited data and mobile hotspot, they're going to come hand in hand with the 5G. They're probably almost all 3 are going to roll out at the exact same time. And those agreements are already being worked on right now. So it's not even like a roadmap 2027 kind of thing. I never use data nor social media as Keith is talking on social media. I love that. My son doesn't send me anything online. Funny enough, my whole family, we were laughing. We all talk on Teams. Like we don't even call each other. If we call each other, it's a Teams call. It's awesome. And because of our Teams integration, this does work with Teams. So if you have a Teams user, a mobile user, a desk phone user, they can all coexist all together on the same platform. I mean, talk about hybrid utilization. You have it right there. Ease of use, easy access. I saw a question, does the data go through OIT? No, the data does not go through us. This is because this is a global company we've partnered with. Everything is GDPR compliant, CCPA, and all the other fun stuff, all COPA. It does not go through us. The data goes through their respective providers. So AT&T, T-Mobile, all that fun stuff. Hotspots are not a limitation of MVNO across carriers. It's just a contract negotiation thing with what we're doing. We were focusing on other things. Functionality, user experience, onboarding, supportability. We wanted to make sure those things were top notch. So, the hotspot thing had to give.
So if you have your, and if an employee has their personal cell phone and then we add the OIT VoIP plan for them for their business, for the business side. So any data is going to go through their personal carrier.
Both Android and iOS allow you to choose. Okay. So you don't have to. So if you have a dual SIM device, or especially when we have eSIM, you'll be able to decide and say, okay, well, I want my data to go over the personal plan. The only catch to that is if you're on a cell phone call on the business line, all cell phones default to using data of whatever an active call is on. We're
Oh, okay.
realistically, that is less frequent. The times that happens is like if you have GPS running and you have a call come in, that kind of thing. But other than that, you can absolutely choose per device.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's there were a lot of that's why this one took so long. There were a lot of gotchas we had to account for.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the blue message versus green message thing was one of the most complicated ones. Group messaging was a pain in the butt too. And multimedia messaging was a pain in the butt. So there was a lot of gotchas here. Just for clarification, I had OITVOIP cell phone of employee. I take no contract liability for the cell. You have your OITVOIP agreement. You are not getting a third-party agreement. There's nothing to sign from AT&T or T-Mobile or anywhere else. The relationship is 100% with us. Keith is a white label partner. So Keith, it is month to month. There is no additional contract for this. You'll have an addendum that you need to email orders to get the addendum for this for pricing. But there's, to our white label partners, there's absolutely no contracts at all. It's a 30-day change. So I couldn't imagine making it any easier than that. And that's especially now with, like, I'm sure actually we've talked about it on the Everything MSP webinars, the Microsoft NCE changes that were going to go in effect March 2022 and now going to June, and let's see if they come at all, fingers crossed.
Right.
But they're putting the MSP on the hook for a lot of liability right now and it's pennies. I know we talked about that. It's not a big deal, but still, if you have thousands of accounts or even hundreds of accounts, you're on the hook for quite a bit of money. So
it can be very nerve-wracking, right? Because the fact that depending on the agreement that you're in or you enter into with whatever vendor out there, and when I say whatever vendor, not talking specifically about VoIP or even mobile, talking anything. The way our contracts with our clients are, there's one thing when you have a contract with a vendor, but obviously those don't align exactly to the contracts that we may have with our client. And that can be a challenging thing that, when we say the good old cliche of what keeps MSPs up at night, that can be one of those things. So now earlier you had showed your simple plan options, and that's my understanding that is that's your charge per user for your general VoIP. And then you're adding on, when you add on the mobile, then you're adding on that other charge to that. So you have those two combined. And just like
actually, if you go to mobile, it includes, so the mobile includes these. So you don't have to have two separate. Yeah, that's what I say. From a cost perspective, because $55 a user for 2 gigs. Now, we did cost analysis between AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon for their month to month, and it actually is pretty close. But when you consider we're also including the hosted voice seat on this, where you would pay 30 or 40, it's a good value.
Oh, it's a no-brainer. I'm glad I clarified that, because you have just made it I guess you position it as why wouldn't you do this scenario right now? That's how I see this. Why wouldn't you want to do this? And when you're adding that price in, that's great.
I agree. And I apologize for not making that more clear. I'm even after a year, I'm so excited about this. It's like, you have no idea.
Yeah. Well, I bet. And that's the thing that I love about, working with a vendor like yourself, because the passion that you have in this is, we do know that other companies that are out there that are providing a variety of services different than what, we might provide. You do have people that have passion in those organizations, but you wake up, you go to sleep, you're doing this, you're thinking this. And that's what makes a clear difference about this overall. And it is kind of funny that when we talk about, when someone says, "Hey, yeah, just call me at my office." Where's your office? Nobody really knows anymore. This really makes it more seamless and unified when it comes to
don't
that.
call my office, call my cell phone. I'm here, I'm there, I'm the,
Right.
you and I were trying to coordinate a call just before this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, poor Taylor and Simon were trying to figure out a time. Like with this, it's not a big deal. Just call my number and you
Just
can
call
find
me
me wherever I'm at. Yeah.
It's as simple as just call me.
Absolutely. Carrie had asked if the pricing before was retail. This is the NFR pricing. And as always, all of our NFR for our partners, month to month, no contracts. If you want, just email orders and we'll send out a SIM and you'll have it within a few days. Pop it in, you're good to go. So,
and which phones are dual SIM capable right now that you mentioned earlier?
Any international version of a Samsung device, of the Samsung S20 and above, all the iPhone X, R, XS, X series and up, those are all dual SIM. The Pixel 5 and 6 series, both the regular and the Pros, they're both dual SIM. There's tons of other devices that are dual SIM too, but those are the major ones. And actually, to find out if you're dual SIM on your phone, you can dial *#06#, and you'll see an IMEI ID number. I'll put it in the chat. I gotta speak as I type. *#06#. It'll show your
muscle
IMEI
memory.
Yeah, exactly. It'll show your IMEI numbers on your screen. If you see more than, you'll see IMEI and then IMEI2. That 2 means you have second SIM, either eSIM or physical. You got to pull out the tray to see if it's physical, but that'll tell you if it's dual SIM supported. Or just remember or call us and we'll help you out. It's not a big deal.
Tim Keith says tin can. So tin can in string setups are supported if I use a second string.
If you do *#06# and you get a second IMEI on the second string, absolutely will make it work.
So I know Keith is old enough to remember this, but remember the good old Iron Maiden number? Remember back in the day?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know it off the top of my head though.
Yeah, I don't remember the number, but I just remember back. I mean, this is old school, right? Way back in the days when you could dial a number and it would come back and it would tell you the number that that's actually connected to that particular number. Yes. And I believe it might tell you the carrier, but it just came on when you gave those digits. I just made me remember
MCI. You could do the same thing too. There was an 800 number we used for MCI all the time.
Yeah,
because we used to do it from like pay phones and stuff like that. If the number was scratched out, or like kids don't do that. Well, good luck finding a payphone. I was gonna say don't do this at home, but if you can find a payphone, go for it. Right. You used to be able to like call the operator, ask for directory assistance on an operator call, and when they hung up, you stay on the line and they would leave an open dial tone so you can call out. That would happen all the time. Good old times. Don't do that at home. Those are you're not allowed to do that. No worky for my Verizon. Well, Verizon wouldn't work anyway, Carrie. Just AT&T and T-Mobile for now. But the S20 Ultra, I'm in the same boat. Note 20 Ultra, and I can't. I don't have dual SIM, so rocking that. 865 time doesn't work anymore either. Jeez.
Well, you know what? Our 459-1212 area code 616 does still tell you the time today, which I was really surprised. And but I think it adds in some additional. It's adding in some additional advertising, obviously, because just who calls the time.
Yeah, no, that's whatchamacallit. Of course, we have a doc because we have a doc for everything. Right. But yeah, we have a doc with test numbers, including weather, time of day, weather, and I think we have Disney World toll free, like Disney Euro or one of those. We have the U.S. Embassy in London, stuff that gives you an auto attendant, so you can make sure it works, but you're not driving somebody nuts. Right. But yeah, we have all those.
This is really some awesome stuff. I'm, I knew what you guys were, putting together, but it's different and way better than what I had anticipated. Because I only heard some bits and pieces in it, and this is it all together. And I'm pretty geeked. And I mean, if this doesn't give you a reason to start using OIT VoIP as your VoIP solution provider for your clients, I don't know what other reason there would be, because this is huge. This is big, up and above what I was anticipating. So great work on that.
I appreciate that. And if you guys do think of something that like would blow you away, let us know. Let Sean or Matt or myself know. We'll make it happen. You know what I mean? If I can.
Yeah.
I love interesting challenges,
Yeah. Danny eSIM is a question that, or I'm sorry, Ray, Danny's got a question of eSIM. And I know you said next year. Do you have a time frame on that, or is it?
We're alpha testing now. I expect it to come very quickly. Because what we're testing is not functionality. What we're testing is user onboarding. So we're just fine tuning that, little tweaks. And again, remember, so we get to mold the company's product to how we use it, because we tend to be some of the bigger partners with these companies. So it's nice because we get to do however we want. So I would be very surprised if it took us till January to get things done. It'll be very quick.
I'll be here before we know it.
Yeah,
it's amazing how fast the back half of this year has gone. You just blink
from no conferences to maybe conferences to back conferences, and now it's like I just want to go home and take a nap.
Exactly. Crawl under the desk like George Costanza from Seinfeld. Have it like all custom built. Yeah. And we just continue to state how old we are, or maybe I am stating how old we are, right?
No, it's us. It's us.
Yeah. Makes me feel a little bit better that I'm not on an island. So I'm just taking a look if there's any other questions here. I think we got Danny's question, and Dimitri says it was very helpful. Thank you. You're very welcome. Sean says never felt younger. Yes, Sean. we know that you drink from the fountain of youth. You are probably 20 years younger than us, despite the lack of hair on your head.
He definitely runs circles around all of us. Dan, regarding basic premium on mobile users. That's a good question. Okay, sorry, Alan. I did see you ask that question, and I didn't answer it. Okay, so this is something we just announced pricing for. So what what Alan's asking is, on the bundled seat, we have the 70 plus, which is, like I said, it's over 100 features now. Bundled premium, we include everything plus voicemail transcription, native fax digital, and SMS. He's asking of the mobile, which of these two would it be? The mobile is the bundled seat. However, we're including the SMS and messaging, SMS and MMS in there. So it's kind of like bundled plus, maybe. We're not including voicemail transcription. You know what? I'll throw that in for an everything MSP thing. I will include fax, digital fax, and voicemail transcription if you guys reach out to me before November 30th. Obviously, everything MSP people. And I'll leave it open up to anybody that watches this on Facebook later. They watch the recording. I know everybody can't be live.
Sure.
But don't reach out to Ray. Yeah, don't reach out to me. Reach out to Sean. sales@oit.co.
Well, Sean heard you say, "Hey, I'll throw this in," and Sean's like, "Wait, what are you throwing in?"
Yeah. No, because I'm the person to like ask technical questions and shoot the proverbial shit with. Do not get on a sales call with me, because we'll talk old school telephony for years, and then I will forget to send you an MSA. I'm the wrong person for sales. But Sean and Matt and Alex will take care of you. But yeah, if you're coming from the Everything MSP webinar, just mention Everything MSP, and we will throw in the digital fax and the voicemail transcription for you at no charge for the life of your mobile agreement, for as long as you have mobile use. Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you, Dan. I appreciate you. The calls were definitely the highlight of my 2020. as they still are today. But it definitely, I was commenting at ITNC, the friendships I made specifically due to everything MSP. It is very, I probably shouldn't say this because I have other friends on other groups, but
Sure.
it's the only time I'm ever on Facebook. It's going to everything MSP. So
well, I appreciate that. I mean, you know, when you take a look at 2020, I mean, it was a brutal year from a perspective of we had no idea what was happening, right? I mean, everybody, whether it be just from a personal level or just from a business level, we were all in the same boat of not knowing what was happening, and we needed to group together and just you know, share our thoughts and ideas and best practices. And I think because of the collective group of everybody wanting to share, which I love about our channel, is that people are in to help everybody in this channel and try to just be a good human being and share information where they've succeeded and also where you fail. I mean, because you know, you as entrepreneurs, we know that failure is part of success, and the key is failing fast, right? And you know, and making changes and moving forward. And so that's awesome. Let's make sure there's no other questions here.
No.
Yeah, there goes Sean's commission with those calls all going to Ray.
I mean, even if you reach out to me for like sales, I may jump on the first call, but I almost always hand them off to Sean. Just because, yeah, I feel bad when I take a sales call. It's just, I am such the wrong person to be helping people. But I saw a lot of familiar friends out there too. I see Dave Coles, obviously Dima. And so thank you so much, guys, for joining in. I definitely appreciate the support, and happy to announce this with everything MSP and you, Dan. Thank you so much, man.
We appreciate it. And there you go. Right there is the Everything MSP deal, the free voicemail transcription and digital fax. And be sure to reach out to Sean, not Ray, Sean at OIT.co. And with that being said, I think we have all of our questions answered. If anybody has any additional questions or want to share this event with others, you will be receiving an email within the next 24 hours that will include, first off, there'll be 2 emails. One will be a survey. We just want to make sure that we're doing good and making sure that the time that we're sharing or you're sharing with us is valuable. And so we really appreciate you completing that. But also you'll get an email in the next 24 hours that will have a link to the recording. Feel free to share it with other people in your organization, as well as any MSP friends, IT service providers out there that you have. Sharing is caring, and this is some great stuff. I really appreciate Ray kicking this off on our call here today. So Ray, thank you very much. And Ray, we will see you tomorrow on our Everything MSP call tomorrow at 12 noon. Everybody else, thank you very, very much for being here. And we will see everybody soon. Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Peace out, everybody.